Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in today's video, of course slight giveaway in the title, we're going to go through some WrestleMania 39 match predictions. Now as it's a long card, let's just cut to the chase. Now I'm going to start out the blocks with a matchup that I'm really looking forward to. Edge versus Finn Balor. Well, let's face it, it's going to be Brood Edge versus Demon Finn Balor. Now, in terms of the victor, I'm going to go with Finn Balor. I feel that Finn Balor needs this more than Edge, but that's not going to take away from the match. There is going to be violence on another level. This is going to be next level. There's going to be blood. There's going to be violence, and I'm interested to see the physical appearance of Demon Finn Balor within the Judgment Day persona. Is it the same Demon Finn, or is this Demon Finn with a fresh look? We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going with Finn Balor for the victory. Now moving on to a matchup that I feel like everybody is talking about, but equally at the same time nobody really cares about the match outcome, in Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Now for me this is just all about a big moment that we're going to see visually. Brock Lesnar lifting Omos up and F5ing him to the depths of hell and getting the pin, getting the victory. And we'll talk about that for decades to come. And quite rightly that should really be the match outcome. But I also feel Omos is going to get a bit of offense in as well. And it may stretch past 3 minutes. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm going with Brock. Moving on swiftly to Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's title. Now in terms of the victor, I'm going for Rhea Ripley. It has to be, surely. She's so over, it's ridiculous. And also thinking about the possibility that if Bianca were to drop the belts to Asuka at Mania or down the line, what about a bit of Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair for SummerSlam? So I certainly think it's more about the future with Rhea Ripley. If Charlotte loses the belts, she can pick up the belts at a later date and then win like 50 titles. Next up, Damage Control versus Lita versus Becky versus Trish. Now I have a feeling that Trish, Becky and Lita will win. And just as they're celebrating, you think all is gravy, and then out of nowhere, boom, heel turn from Trish, which would be really cool to see a legend heel turn out of nowhere. I don't think they'd save it for the Raw after WrestleMania. I think that would just get blurred in with other big shenanigans going on that night. So I think they'll pull the trigger at Mania on that, and it'll be a big like open-mouthed wow moment. Of course, at the same time, I'd like to see Damage Control get the W, but I also see at the same time them splitting somewhere along the line. So I'm going with, let's just call it Team Becky. Now, moving on to what is going to be a banger of a matchup. I think you've guessed what matchup is coming next. Sheamus versus Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the IC title. Now, shockingly, I'm going to go with Sheamus for the victory. One, because he's never won the Intercontinental title. It'd be an amazing feel-good moment for Sheamus at Mania. And also, it might add some fresh layers to Drew McIntyre. We've seen a heel Sheamus and a face Drew McIntyre go at it. So what about a role reversal in Drew McIntyre chasing Sheamus for the IC title? And at the same time, I know you're thinking, what about Gunther? Well, he can go off into the main event title scene. And if Cody is the one to beat Roman Reigns, what about Cody Rhodes and Gunther in a little feud maybe down the line? Moving on to John Cena versus Austin Theory in a matchup that I think is going to surprise a lot of people. Now, predictably, I'm going with Austin Theory to win. I think he should win. However, imagine if John Cena won and then on Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, he opens this open challenge for the US title. And then we get someone like a Bron Breakker come out with the United States title. I don't see that happening, but just imagine. Anyway, it's just a bit of fantasy there. I'm going with Austin Theory in a passing of the torch moment, and this is just going to elevate Austin Theory to the next stratosphere. Next up, we got the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And surely it's going to be the fairy tale ending for Kev and Sami. And they beat the Usos and end their historic reign with the titles. Surely, right? Also, allegedly, there's a certain Viper that might be WrestleMania 39 ready. Now, we don't know if this is match ready. I'm assuming it's not match ready, as in he's ready to come back to WWE ready in Randy Orton. And if you think about it, of May of last year, that is where the historic undisputed title reign started with the Usos, when Roman Reigns cost Randy Orton and Matt Riddle the belts. And as a result, they unified the titles. So what if Randy Orton cost the Usos, with things coming full circle? Now, Randy Orton could also be involved in Bray Wyatt shenanigans, in Roman Reigns shenanigans also. but it's just a completely out there fantasy book. But the reality is, probably just going to see Kev and Sami get the victory in a clean match, a memorable match. Moving on to Asuka versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's title. Now, if you asked me after the Elimination Chamber, I would have said a freshly repackaged Asuka is going to win, no doubt, and end Bianca's reign. Now, I'm not so sure. The build has been underwhelming, it's been slow, and it makes me think they're not ready to pull the trigger on Asuka, which is a shame because it could be 2 times now that she's been shafted after winning the Royal Rumble many years ago, now winning the Elimination Chamber and then losing on the grandest stage of them all. Isn't going to sit well for Asuka fans. Now, I'll be cheering on Asuka, I want her to win. I equally do like Bianca, though I think she needs to freshen up with her character, and surely that's going to come in time. But at this moment, on the grandest stage of them all, I just think Bianca's going to win and retain. Moving on to Seth Rollins versus Logan Paul, and surely there's just no way that Seth frickin' Rollins is going to lose this match to Logan Paul, and that's not taking anything away from Logan Paul. He's fantastic, he's charismatic, he's amazing in the ring, incredibly athletic. However, the last 2 weeks, Logan Paul has made Seth Rollins look like a clown by knocking him out twice, and surely WWE aren't going to do the dirty on Seth Rollins again, and Seth Rollins is going to beat Logan Paul. Seth Rollins still has plenty in the tank. I think he has another main title run in him, to be honest with you. And he's so over with the fans. Like, just book that guy to win, because he's been the gatekeeper for the last couple of years within WWE. Now I'm going to tiptoe through a few points. There's obviously some WrestleMania Showcase tag matches from the men's and the women's side. The men's is complete, the women's isn't, but just a future prediction, I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler to win the women's side, and then I'm going to go for the Street Profits. Let's go for the Street Profits for the men's side. But let's face it, this is just all about getting people on the card, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now, this isn't official, but obviously it's going to be official. On time of recording this video, this is before SmackDown, but surely after SmackDown, it's going to be announced that we're going to get Rey Mysterio versus Dominik Mysterio, where it could be Rey Mysterio's last match in WWE. And surely Rey Mysterio would win if that's the case. Things coming full circle, and him fighting his son at WrestleMania. I mean, does it get any bigger than that? And give him a good send-off, because Rey, again, has just been a guy that has put over so many people through the years. So it'd be great to see him get his moment. And at the same time, it's not going to hurt Dominik, but I think this match is going to deliver big time. Now, of course, we've got to talk about Bray Wyatt, and we've got to talk about LA Knight. Let's talk about Bray Wyatt first. Obviously, big fans on this channel. At the moment, we don't know what's going on. As it stands, he's not officially on the WrestleMania card. But remember, this is Bray Wyatt, this is Triple H, this is 2023, this isn't Vince McMahon. This could be, although it's a big shot in the dark, it could all be a work. It could well be. Remember back to the Hangman game where the left leg was missing, right? And Bray Wyatt has been wearing a knee brace on his left leg. The fact that it seems a bit odd that recently Alexa's been pulled from TV, and Bray's been pulled for TV, and Bobby's been pulled from TV. So what if Bobby came out, offered an open challenge, and just as we think Bray's not going to be there, he shows up. But not only does he show up, he shows up in the Fiend. And that would be an amazing, like, mouth open moment that we didn't see coming. Next up, we got to talk about LA Knight. That man deserves a segment at WrestleMania. He has come out of the Bray Wyatt feud better off than he came in. So those that say you don't come out of feuds with Bray Wyatt better off, LA Knight has, and he's massively over. And what about taking things to the next level? And I know this is fantasy booking, but him having a segment alongside someone like Stone Cold Steve Austin, that would be huge. And if there's anyone that can handle the mic alongside Austin, it's LA Knight. And they could have a short match, one similar to what we saw, of course, with Kevin Owens and Austin last year. But the likelihood is you probably get a segment with The Miz or something like that. But fantasy booking scenario for LA there alongside Stone Cold. That would be badass. That brings us on to the main course, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal title. Now, I thought at first, and my gut instinct after the Royal Rumble was, this is going to be the moment for Cody Rhodes. He's going to be the one. And now, I'm not so sure. I think that Roman Reigns is going to retain. But I don't think it's going to be the moment that we expect. I think that Roman Reigns is going to retain. He's going to chase that 1,000+ day reign, and there'll be more layers to the bloodline dynamic. We get that. Like, if the Usos were to lose, imagine the reaction to Roman Reigns in relation to the Usos. The disgust on his face, you can already see it. But we all expect Cody Rhodes to win. Most of us. Which is why I don't think he will. And you can see Roman Reigns standing victorious with both the belts, all the pyros and all that going off, fireworks galore, and then The Rock comes out. And all you need is a face-to-face between the two of them. But that's WrestleMania 14, and at that point it doesn't matter whether it's with or without the belts. I do think Roman will lose the belts till that point. Of course he will. I've got theories on that for separate videos. And there you go. It's a win-win. Heartbreak with Cody. Roman wins. Chase that 1,000+ day. Rock returns. We know he's not match ready, but he can surely make an appearance in Hollywood. I just have a feeling that's going to happen. Now, also rumoured that Randy Orton is supposed to be ready for WrestleMania 39 in some capacity. Now, obviously, this is not going to be match ready, but how does Randy Orton come into play? And if Cody Rhodes were to dethrone Roman Reigns, imagine the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. Randy celebrates with Cody and then turns on him, and then we get a feud there. I've always wanted to see that feud. Throwbacks to, of course, Legacy in those days. And that would make a lot of sense. There's so many layers to this. I love the fact that it's unpredictable. Like, we don't know. It could go either way. And I think this is the first time in a Roman Reigns match in a long time, with the exception of maybe Drew McIntyre and Sami, that we don't know who's going to win for sure. And I like that because it's unpredictability. But I'm going for Roman to retain and the return of The Rock. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you so much for watching the video. As always, be very much appreciated if you could like the video, share the video, and even better, subscribe if you're new. And we'll catch you in the next one.